In the ancient land of Edo, Benin, where dragons still flew over distant mountains and trees whispered to those who could hear. A great storm raged for 3 days and nights. On the final night, lightning split the sky, and beneath the roots of an old white tree, a baby was born. His eyes glowed faintly blue, and strange symbols shimmered across his skin before fading. The village midwife gasped. "This child is touched by the ancients." They named him Osaze Osamudimen. By the age of 5, Osaze was unlike any child in the village. He could hear voices no one else could, whispers from the wind, secrets from stones. He once made flowers bloom in the dead of winter and stopped a wolf from attacking with a single look. People feared him. Children whispered, "He's different." The elders said, "No, he's chosen." Only his grandmother, Isosa, protected him. She gave him a small pendant, a silver star with a crystal in the center. "This is not just a charm," Osaze. "It's a key to your destiny." One day, drawn by a strange dream, Osaze wandered into the Whispering Woods, a place no one dared enter. Inside, time felt frozen. Trees bent toward him, and shadows moved like they were alive. In the center of the forest, he found an old well with ancient markings glowing faintly. He touched it, and his mind was flooded with visions, dragons, old kings, wars of magic, and a woman in a black veil whispering his name. The voice said, "The sealed one has awakened." Then he fainted. When Osaze awoke, he was back home, but now, things were different. Objects moved when he was angry. Candles lit themselves. His dreams became more vivid, filled with symbols and riddles. His grandmother Isosa finally revealed the truth. "Long ago, there was a great magician, your ancestor. He sealed his power in a bloodline, waiting for the one pure enough to carry it. That's you, Osaze." She gave him an ancient scroll written in runes. "This is your first trial. Read it when the moon turns red." The red moon rose 3 nights later. Osaze read the scroll, and suddenly, a portal opened in front of him, glowing blue with sparks crackling like fire. He stepped into a different world, a forgotten realm of spirits, riddles, and ancient beasts. There, he faced his first trial, the guardian of the crystal flame, a fire-breathing serpent that tested not strength, but wisdom. Osaze solved its riddle and was granted a glowing orb of pure magic. "This is the flame of truth. You have passed." Awai Isosa revealed a final secret. There are 4 ancient talismans: flame, wind, stone, and water. You now hold one. The rest are hidden across the land. Each talisman awakens a part of Osaze's power, but also draws the attention of dark forces that wish to stop him. A mysterious cloaked figure begins following him from the shadows, watching, waiting. Far away in the dark mountains, the Dark King, Osaze, awakens. He senses Osaze's energy. He is the one the prophecy warned us about. If the boy finds all 4, the balance will break. Osaze sends shadow beasts called the Hollow Ones to hunt the boy. Osaze, now 13, begins his journey across dangerous lands, crossing rivers of light, floating islands, and ancient ruins. Guided by whispers and dreams, with 3 talismans in his possession, Osaze journeys to the Temple of Tides to claim the final piece. But the Hollow Ones are waiting. In a battle of wit and willpower, Osaze uses his inner light, not violence, to banish the creatures. He finally places all 4 talismans into a circle, and his pendant glows. Power surges through him. He is no longer just a boy, he is the guardian of balance. Inside a secret chamber, an ancient hologram appears. It's the first mage, his ancestor. "You are the first in 1,000 years to complete the trial. But beware, light alone is not enough. The world must remain balanced. Even you, Osaze, must guard your heart." He sees a future, a world either saved or burned, depending on. Osaze returns to Benin, Edo City. The people no longer fear him, they look to him for guidance, but Osaze knows, the real journey has just begun. His power is great. But so is the darkness waiting beyond the stars, and so, the boy born under storm became the spark that would light the fires of destiny. Osaze had saved Benin, the villages danced in his honor. Songs were sung, carvings were made, and children waved leaves in his path. But somewhere inside, something shifted. Power is not a crown, Isosa warned. It's a responsibility. But Osaze was enjoying the spotlight too much. He started floating above crowds for attention, casting light spells for applause, and whispering his own name into the wind so birds would echo it back. He was no longer Osaze the boy, he now called himself Osaze. The mighty power entered his head like fresh palm wine. He stopped listening to Isosa. He started floating instead of walking, literally. Why walk when you can fly? He'd say. He turned his friend's goat into a talking parrot because the goat refused to greet him. He would freeze people's food midair if they annoyed him. Even worse, he began calling himself Osaze the Mighty. He became a legend in nearby villages. They brought him gifts, requests, and praise, but instead of helping, Osaze started choosing who deserved his power. A farmer asked for rain, Osaze sent snow instead for fun. A girl asked for her injured brother to be healed. Osaze turned his crutch into a dancing broomstick. Laughter followed him everywhere. But slowly, the laughter started to feel strange. Even his friends, Dend and Baraka, started to pull. Dons had always been Marlene's best friend. They trained together. But one day, Toju teased him for miscasting a spell. Osaze was furious. You, a farmer's son, mocking me. He turned Den's shirt into a chicken's feathers for 3 days. Baraka, who tried to defend Den, was given hiccups that made him float whenever he laughed. They stopped speaking to him. Osaze didn't care. I don't need them. I have power. I have followers. Word of Osaze's magic reached the far corners of Benin. Young women traveled just to catch a glimpse of him. He enchanted roses that danced. His eyes glowed softly when he spoke. He rode a floating leaf carriage and wore gold-trimmed robes stitched by magic. He even created a lake of floating lilies for a princess named Etenosa. You don't need love when you can create fantasy, he said, but what he didn't know was, the talismans on his robe were slowly dimming. His fire spell failed during a village celebration. A single puff of smoke rose where once a dragon appeared, and a dragon appeared and warned him with the sign of breathing fire to turn a new leaf. The next day, he tried to float over the river and splashed right in. His grandmother called him to hot. Magic does not serve pride, or says it listens to purpose. He rolled his eyes. You're just jealous the world looks at me now. The wind outside howled. Even the trees seemed to shake their heads. Stood in front of a crowd, ready to perform his greatest spell yet, a sky dance of firebirds. He raised his arms, whispered the ancient words, nothing. The talismans on his chest cracked and fell. The people laughed. Is it part of the act? Someone joked, then came the whisper, even power gets tired of pride. He ran far into the forest. He cried by the same ancient well where it all began. That night, the spirits of the 4 talismans appeared before him, each held the light they once gave him. The fire spirit spoke, you dishonored us. You mocked wisdom. You traded protection for pride. The water spirit added, you used healing to impress. You silenced your truth. The wind spirit said, you drifted far from balance. And the stone spirit said nothing. It simply turned and faded. They left Osaze kneeling, alone. Osaze returned to the village with no cloak. No glow, no magic. People stared. Some laughed. Some ignored him, but Toju stepped forward. I always knew you'd come back. When you found yourself again. Baraka smiled. His grandmother Esisa, sitting in her rocking chair, simply nodded, welcome back. He collapsed in tears at her feet. Days passed. Osaze helped carry firewood. He listened to other stories. He stopped floating and started walking, sometimes barefoot. One morning, a child fell sick. Without magic, Osaze held the child's hand and whispered an old tale, the story of the tree that refused to fall. The child smiled and got better. Later that night, his pendant flickered, a small blue glow. Then, silence. The magic hasn't left me, he whispered. It just waited for me to grow. Osaze in shocked expression.